In today's gospel, we find Jesus talk to us about talents. He tells us a story about a man who was going on a journey, and prior to do so, he shared his wealth with people that he has trusted, and he have faith in them that they will do good. And so according to the ability, he gave the first one 5 talents, the second one 2, and the third one 1. And we said that when he returned, he wanted to settle account. And we know what happens. The one who have 5 make another addition of 5. The other one who have 2 make another 2. But the one who have 1, he was afraid of his master, and he hid his talent. And when he returned, the master was not very happy, because at least if you cannot trade them and take the risk, put them in the bank so I can take the interest when I come back. But I like that first reading today, because that first reading really set the tone of the liturgy. The book of Proverbs today said, how happy is that man who finds a very, very prosperous and very, as we say, commercial woman. A woman who is enterpriser. A woman who not only help her husband with the wages that she brings in, so that they meet their responsibilities, but also open her heart to the poor, and she shower her wealth with those who have not. How busy she is, not only she do her job as a wife, as a mother, but also she put her hands to the spindle, and there she crochet and do clothing so that she can sell them at the city gate to make some more additional profit for her family. And how lovely it is for a man who finds such woman. In the second reading today, St. Paul reminds us that when the Lord comes, it's going to be like a thief in the night. If you know that your house is going to be broken, I don't think that you put your eyes together and go to bed, because you will be very alert, because you don't want no one to take away from you from what you have worked so hard to achieve. And that's the same thing Jesus is saying to us, that when the Lord comes, and he comes in his parousia, he comes when he wants to take us home, he comes purposely to really give us what we have worked for, and we have to give him an account of our lives. And that's why he said, remember, the last sentence of that reading said, if you are now what you thought you are, because not only I told you, but you actually are children of light, don't go to the darkness. Don't achieve the action of darkness. And in order to do so, you have to be sober. You have to be alert. You have to be watchful. As you know, dear people, the end of the season, the year of the church is coming to an end. Next Sunday we celebrate the feast of the solemnity of Christ, the King of the universe, and that is the end of the calendar of the church. The following Sunday we begin the new year of the church by the first Sunday of Advent. And we know that as the church is approaching the end of the year, she's also remind us of what's going to take place at the end of time. Many people say, how do I know when the end is going to be? Nobody knows. And that's why the church in her wisdom gather us together every Sunday. Because every Sunday especially, we celebrate Little Easter. We celebrate the mystery of the dying and rising of Christ. We celebrate also that arrival of Jesus. In fact, at Mass, we urge him to come. Come, Lord Jesus, as he comes in glory. Why he comes in glory? So we who have worked with him to build his kingdom here on earth, we will be with him in heaven. But many people say, how I am going to know that I am working to build the kingdom? In the gospel today, we have a story that Jesus said. We need to be enterprisers in the faith. In the letter of St. Paul, we read that the Spirit is one, but different are the ministries in the church. Not everyone is a teacher, not everyone is administrator, not everyone is a preacher, not everyone is, have all the talents, but we have enough, and what God gave me is not for me, but for me to hand down to those that I share my faith with. My dear people, this is what we are going to be accountable for at the end of our journey on earth. When we are going to appear in front of God, He's not going to ask us, oh, let me see how much sins you have made. Oh, let me see how much masses you have attended. Oh, let us see how much communion you have received. They are very important. In fact, I call them the fuel in our engine to go. But they are not the ones that we are going to be accounted for. I have given you much, and much is expecting of you. Look at that wife in the first reading. Nobody forced her to be so enterpriser. She has enough of work to do as a mother, as a wife, at the house. But she tried that how little time she has, she would put herself together so that she earns some money to help her husband, so that together they meet their ends. They make ends meet. And why? Because she knows that she is also responsible of the family. That she also has to be the one that others who are dependent on her, she needs to put her share together. And that's why she did what she did, so that she would continue to really help her husband and aid her family to live well. But also, she also taught that beautiful thought, which is supposed to be for all Christians, the thought to help those who are less fortunate. This is very important. When Christ came from heaven, He did not come to serve Himself. He comes to serve others. And how He served them? In their poverty. In their poverty of losing their loved ones. In their poverty of being sick. In their poverty when He fed them. In their poverty when He reached out to them. In their poverty when they have no one to teach them. And that's why He taught with authority. And that's why people ran to Him. Because they know that this one is different from the rabbis. He has something that the other rabbis did not have. And that is the love for them. The love to serve them. And this is why the church today reminds us that at the end of the journey, each one of us are going to be accountable. And if God has given you something, that something was given to you as a talent, so that you exercise it for the good of the church. What good it is that you tell me that you are a great doctor, that you have graduated with cum laude in your class, that you have really made a great success in your discernment, and also you did a great job when you are trained in a hospital for 2 or 3 years to be a doctor. When you are not practicing your medicine to cure those who are sick. What good it is that you claim that you are a famous carpenter if I never see a table or a chair or a piece of furniture made by you? How can I testify what you say to me if I don't see your actions? How can you claim that you are a great teacher because you know all the theory that you have learned if you are not able to communicate it to your students? And your students then, after they have been instructed by you, they will become par with you in their education. My dear people, if we expect this from our normal life, how much God expects us? And that's why He said to the third one, you lousy, you lazy person. You know I am a harsh person. I am going to harvest what I did not plant. And you did not even thought to put my money in the bank, but go and hide it? And that sentence really stuck me, because that sentence applied to me as applied to you. If God has given me a talent and I am not using, in fact I hide it, I don't want to share it with others, I don't want others to know that I have it, I don't care about, others, and I don't do nothing for others, what a judgment I am going to face. And this is really what the church is trying to bring out to us. Enterprisers. We need to understand that God has given us so many gifts, great and small, and they have been given to us for one reason, to share them with others. Many people say, Father, you are a priest and that's why you talk the way you talk. If God gave me the gift of the priesthood and I am not sharing it with others, what kind of a priest I am? If God has calling me to aid those around me by being present for them when they are sick, or when they need a word of consolation, or even give them the message of the gospel, what kind of priest I am? And the same applies to all of us, because all of us are baptized. By virtue of baptism, we become children of light. By virtue of baptism, we have been enlightened by Christ. We have left ourselves, our sinfulness, at the fount of baptism, and we rise from that fount of baptism to be a new creation, to really imitate Christ. And now Christ not only calls me through the vow of baptism to share in his dying and rising, in his suffering and in his resurrection, but he has asked me now to proclaim it. He has asked me now to make it known. He has asked me now to share with him the endurance of the Calvary, but also to profess and also to proclaim the good news that God will give us at the end of our journey. This is the message that really the readings is offer us today. The first reading, how happy is that man who finds a woman like that. How happy is God with us when he has given us so much, and because we love him so much, we are using what he given us for the growth of the church. How happy are we when we are like that man who received the 5 and 2 talents, who take the risk to really put them to trade, because people who take his money and put them in the stocks, he's taking a risk. That's losing the money. But it's better to take that risk than not take it. Because if you don't take it, you are not going to gain nothing. Yes, you can lose the money, but that is not your fault. You try the best you can. But how awful it is that I give you the money to keep for me, and because you think I am so rigid and I am so demanding, you put your money in, as we say, under some piece of clay in the ground, or some hole in the ground, and you save it there for me. Number one, you are going to tempt the devil, the thieves, to come and take it away from you. And number two, you are going to gain nothing, because you are not going to show me that you really care for me. My dear people, remember what St. Paul said to us today. If we know that the Lord is coming, and he will come, let us stay alert. Let us be sober. Let us work our talents, so that when he comes, we can hear the words of the gospel today. Come, my faithful. Come, my blessed one. You are faithful in small matters. I give you now responsibility in great matters. Come and enjoy what I have prepared for you, the kingdom that I prepare for those who love me. Not only those who do say they love me, but they love me by deeds, by putting into action what I have given to them as gifts to use for others. God bless you.